And welcome back. Well, we've been hearing about ideas and visions on sustainable cars, mobility as a service, and even autonomous driving. Now, let's talk about how we can motivate people to travel in a sustainable way. Our board member, Sascha Pallenberg, has been living in Taiwan for a few years, and he has something to say to you now about the great shift that's already happening there. Sascha?
My name is Sascha Pallenberg. I'm the Chief Awareness Officer of Aware, Germany's first sustainability platform. I used to start as a blogger, writing about mobile technology for almost 20 years before I joined Daimler in corporate communication. I used to work as a head of digital transformation for the headquarters in Stuttgart for about 4 years, and I absolutely enjoyed it. But since early April this year, I joined these two fellows here, Kim Fischer and Lena Schroom, to work on a new sustainability startup, because our vision is that sustainability is profitable. So what's that about technology, sustainability, and mobility, and Taiwan? Well, it has a lot to do with this picture. I'm standing here in front of the Taipei 101, and it tells you a lot about technology. But I'm not sure if you know who built the Taipei 101. It's a very, very well-known technology company. Exactly. It's Samsung Construction, right? Jesus, I can't just have a better intro to the amazing city of Taipei and my passion about technology in general. But of course I live here in Taiwan because it's goddamn beautiful. It almost looks like Switzerland, but on the bottom right corner you can tell that there are somewhat kind of tea fields, which makes sense because this island almost looks like a tea leaf. Beautiful temples like the one here in Taroko Gorge. And look at the stunning East Coast. Yeah, this is basically why I live over here. This is the view out of my bedroom window. I live close to the Tea Mountains in southeastern Taipei, which is the capital of Taiwan. And this is downtown Taipei. There's a picture taken from Elephant Mountain. Sorry about all this bragging. I'm gonna stop about this right now because we don't have to talk about the past. We shouldn't talk about the present. We have to go straight into the future. And I want to talk to you about the future that is happening right now. And that's the future of urban mobility, the future of the holistic approach towards an interconnected mobility. And it basically all started with this tweet over here, because this was from a friend of mine. She wanted to go from Berlin in Germany to Freiburg, which is roughly about 800 kilometers. So she bought herself a first-class ticket for the German railway, and it looked like this. So she is 1.70 meters, and she basically got punished for around 7 hours to choose a more sustainable way of getting from A to B. And I thought, you know what, guys, this just can't be. It just can't be. Let me take you on a journey through Taiwan and how it looks like over here. So this is a little video of me going on an Uber to a train station in Taichung on Taiwan's east coast. This is the high-speed train station. It almost looks like a Western European airport. Yes, basically, this is how it looks like. Let's just get in there. Here's the kind of waiting area. And as soon as we're getting onto the platforms, it looks like this. You can tell this was right during the COVID period, so it was pretty empty. We have this kind of Shinkansen trains over here that's just arriving from Kaohsiung, the south of Taiwan. They look absolutely amazing. By the way, it only takes you 1 hour 25 minutes to go from Kaohsiung to Taipei, which is about 280, 270 kilometers. And then there's, of course, the stop in Taichung. Let's just hop onto this train. This is the second class. And what you can immediately see is just how roomy and spacey all of this is. Let's have a look at these seats. look at this decline of the seat. And I just placed my little carry-on over there right in front of me. So, I finally can see myself there in the window. Jeez. I'm about 1.87 meters. That's about 6'3". I have pretty long legs, but this is just how much space I've had. Let's have a look into the future of all of this, because this is a train from mainland China. And what I'm going to show you is the business class of this train, not from any intercontinental flight, the business class of a train in China. Look at this. I mean, seriously, guys, do you ever want to get on a domestic flight again if you have a chance to sit in a seat like this? I wouldn't. But this is reality in Germany. First class ticket, 7 hours, 800 kilometers. Jesus, guys. Yeah, who cares? Well, the people in Taiwan really care about this. Just to give you an idea, the connection in between Taipei and Kaohsiung, two biggest cities here in Taiwan, we've had a flight departing from Taipei airport every 10 minutes. Guess how many flights are departing right now since we have the high-speed train network? You guessed it. 0. The answer is 0. Every 20 minutes, a train to Kaohsiung and a train from Kaohsiung to Taipei, which roughly costs you about, I think it's about 85 to 90 euros for the business class ticket. It's much cheaper, of course, for the second class one I've been showing you. But this is not only about, railways and whatnot. What's going to happen when you're getting into the urban centers, into an urban environment? So this is the Taipei MRT. By the way, this is the line I live on, the so-called brown line. Autonomous trains, and it goes straight into downtown Taipei. You know what, guys? I mean, I used to work for a car manufacturer. I'm a super petrolhead. I love to drive cars, but I would just never do this here in downtown Taipei. Why? Because I can get on this train every 2 to 3 minutes, right? And it's autonomously driving me downtown in the fastest and most sustainable and in the cheapest and most efficient way. I absolutely love it. Just to give you an idea of the development here in Taipei, I just got you the subway map from 2006. So, I mean, this is a typical development. You start with a north-south connection and an east-west one. So this is how it looked like back in 2006. 10 years later, 2016, it looked like this. Not too shabby, huh? Another 5 years later, so 2021, which is right now, it looks like this. So once again, 15 years from this subway map to this. And now compare this to building a central station like the one in Stuttgart, or building an airport like the one in Berlin, or building an opera house like the one in Hamburg. How long it takes. Oh well, and trust me, this is not rocket science. This is about, digging tunnels. Anyways, in my opinion, what's so important for urban mobility, the breakthrough of urban mobility, is to create seamless experiences. And mobile payment is so important for this. And this is why we have this Easy Card here that you can see on the right. But it's also important to have nice amenities and service infrastructures at the various stations. So this is what you can see at every subway station. It's a little table where you can connect your laptop to a power outlet. Fantastic. But you can also connect your phone to a power outlet. Little USB connectors, right? Once again, no rocket science whatsoever. This USB standard is decades old. And you can also see this little Taipei sign. This is about the Taipei free Wi-Fi. Yes, we do have free Wi-Fi at every station. Okay, not only at every station, but all over the city. Let me show you a little screenshot of Google Maps. So I got the layer of Wi-Fi hotspots over it. And if you compare this with your telco in Germany or in the States or somewhere else in the Western world, you might think, it looks exactly the same. Well, this is because I've zoomed in, yeah? And when I zoom out, you will see it won't look the same whatsoever. So you have roughly in between 2 and 5 Mbit upload and download all the time. And it's free. Well, no one's really using it anymore because you can get a 5G flat rate here for 25 euros, right? And they really don't care. It's a real flat rate. Whether you're going to go for 1 gigabyte, 1 terabyte, I never ever thought that I'd try to kind of push it to the limits if I can download like a petabyte or something. I should really do that. Let's see if they cut off my line. Anyways, you know what's also very, very important? Is the last mile. Giant is the biggest bicycle manufacturer in the world. Guess what? They come from Taiwan. Sure. And this is why they teamed up with the government over here and they built the U-bike system. And we have these U-bike stations all over the city. And just once again, to give you an idea, like with the Wi-Fi hotspots, I have a little map for you. The screenshot is taken out of an app and you can see the various U-bike stations, docking stations over there, and you can just press on this little smileys and it will tell you exactly how many U-bikes are available over there. By the way, you can also pay with the Easy Card. Yeah, you guessed it already. I zoomed in. Let's zoom out together, yeah? Boom. So we have way over 4 million rentals a month. And I think this is an absolutely amazing amount of passengers, of users for a sustainable mobility platform. You need to build infrastructure for this, don't you? Yes, you do. This is on Shinny Road, right? One of the biggest roads here in Taipei. And he used to have 10 lanes, so 2 BRT lanes for the bus. For the buses in the center of the road, and then on each side you had like 4 lanes for cars and motorcycles and scooters. Scooters. We got to talk about scooters, trust me. Right now it looks like this. So this is an MRT station once again. You can see this kind of bright sidewalk. That's the old one. The darker one, that was a former street for cars. And now it's just much wider. This was a pre-COVID picture here, even though you can still see some people wearing face masks. And you also have this kind of bicycle lane over there. And as I said, you know what? If you build the infrastructure, people gonna use it. And guess what it does for the retail over there? Because now you have all these people walking by, people just using the bicycles, stopping by. It is just amazing the vibe that they created with this infrastructure. There's another picture that I took here from the MRT station. I just absolutely love it. And as I said, you know what? This is not about having kind of rocket technology and science or whatnot. These are technologies been around forever. Here's another one. QR codes. You might ask yourself, what can you do with the QR code in such an environment? Let me show you this. So I saw this next to a U-bike station recently, and there was a sign on this tree on the left. So I got closer, I saw, oh my God, it even has an NFC transmitter and a QR code. So I only used the QR code, and boom, there we go. It just sent me over to a website that told me anything that I wanted to know about this tree. Yeah, it just might be boring for you, but I think, as a kid, I would have loved something like this, to experience, to explore my city like this. I just absolutely love it. So, as I said, you know what, this is all about the holistic approach of having different platforms, different technologies working together to create a more sustainable environment. And I told you already how important payment is. This is a coin for a single ticket. But when you use this Easy Card to get on a train, the price is 20% off. And you can just buy it on one of these vending machines, right? And then you can just recharge it. By the way, of course, as I said already, you can also use it to ride on a U-bike. Or you can pay in a cab, or you can use it in a bus. You know what's even more interesting? When you use the bus before getting on the subway, it's 40% off of the single journey ticket. Why? Because this is the way that they try to motivate and inspire people to not use their car when they come from the suburbs, from Taipei County, to go to the MRT stations, but rather go for the bus. And trust me, it works, right? I just think, God, they're so pragmatic over here. And you can also, of course, pay in a 7-Eleven over here. And by the way, I love that. You can get a receipt everywhere for anything that you can imagine. Why is that? Look at this 8-digit number. With the 8-digit number, you qualify yourself for the monthly lottery draft. Yes! So they take specific amount of all the retail taxes. They just put it into the lottery, and therefore you can qualify yourself with a receipt like this. And therefore they also make sure that all these retail stores are paying their taxes, because the customers want their receipt because they want to participate in the lottery. Ah, Jesus, life can be so simple, seriously. And if you don't want to collect all these tickets, you can just throw it into one of these boxes and donate it to the charity of your choice. I absolutely love it. Well, this was all about public transport and payment and getting from A to B, but there is just one more thing. And this is very, very inspiring, and I think we just need to enjoy it. Taiwan is all about scooters. There's no other country in the world where you can see so many registered scooters per citizen. Just in Taipei, I think we have roughly about 1.5 million registered scooters. And this brand is called Gogoro. And Gogoro is doing something absolutely amazing. They built electric scooters, and they're just goddamn fast and so much fun to drive and ride. Actually, they even made it to Germany together with Bosch. I think it was called Coupe. But over here, it looks a little bit different. You can buy a Gogoro scooter for roughly about $2,000. It's heavily subsidized by the government. And then you're going to go for a charging flat rate depending on how far you want to drive each and every month. So 100, 200, 300, whatever kilometers. I think it starts at roughly about $20. And then we have this kind of battery swap station all over the island. Actually, I think we have about 2,400 battery swap station in Taiwan, here in Taipei. The range or the distance between two battery swapping stations is less than 1 kilometer. And as I said, almost 2,400. That's more charging stations than Tesla superchargers globally. And I think that's absolutely amazing. Right now, almost 20% of all new scooters getting registered over here in Taiwan are electric scooters. And as you can tell, if you're already at like almost 20%, right, this is going to inspire more and more people just to get rid of kind of their dinosaur juice burning ones. And I truly believe this is also an amazing way and an amazing alternative of how we can change the urban mobility. So it's not only about public transport, it's also about individual mobility. And when it comes to individual mobility, let's just make sure that we are going to go for a sustainable and for a clean one. I hope you guys enjoyed this little adventure. Thank you so much for having me here. Even though I already had my one more thing moment, I need to tell you something. this was pre-recorded. There was just no way that I could do this live right in front of you with all the pictures and sound effects and whatnot. And I'm not trying to fake it by wearing the same hat and working on my beard and obviously having a black shirt on, even though that's a different one from the Dead Kennedys, one of my favorite bands. I need to tell you that what you just experienced, this is something that we could all implement right now. This is no rocket science. This is not about some technologies that are going to happen in the future. And I would love to let you know that especially the experience that we all had together in the last 18 months, in my opinion, should be very, very inspiring for all of us to actually realize what we can achieve if we focus on a solution. If we know the problem, if we focus on a solution, and we really need to get there. Could you have ever imagined that we would have a situation like this about 3 years ago? Having this kind of hybrid event where people from all around the world are getting connected to an event like SHIFT, and they're telling you about their perspective on the future of mobility. Well, now it's happening. I can sit here in Taipei, roughly about 11,000 kilometers away from you guys, and we can talk to each other. And we can inspire and motivate each other. And we can share our thoughts and perspectives. And this is what it's all about. That people come together, they get together, they exchange ideas to see what just happened. I remember last year's SHIFT, right, which already was in a kind of setup like the one that we have right now. But even a year later, guys, I'm so glad that the SHIFT event made a decision very, very early to say, you know what, we're going in for another hybrid event. We want to make sure that people from all around the world can contribute and can join us, because we're still in a very, very difficult situation. Such a difficult situation. Limitations always get us to new innovations. And I think, even though that some of you might think that we wasted about 18 months or 2 years of our lives, I think it's an experience of us understanding that when we are in something like this together, in such a global challenge, we can get together and we can work on a solution. And this is what's happening right now. When you look at the vaccination processes and the vaccines are getting rolled out all around the world, in just a fraction of a time what it would usually take to come up with anything like it. If we only put 10-20% of this inspiring effort into the transformation of mobility, into the transformation of our urban centers, and into working on the biggest challenge that we all face, which is the climate crisis. Yes, it's the climate crisis. We're not in a climate change anymore. And I'm absolutely hopeful that this climate crisis is not turning into a climate catastrophe. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to talk to you and to share these thoughts. And hopefully, we're going to see each other in 2022 in person. Stay safe.
Sascha Pallenberg from Taipei, thank you so much for that inspiring presentation.